Phil and I have been to a ton of events, and there's always something missing. We're walking around, we feel the energy, but every time we have a conversation post-event, it's always the same thing. Wow, what a missed opportunity to do this better. Phil, talk about what is it that we feel goes completely missed at just about every event we've ever attended?
I think it's the underutilization of the vendor halls.
Yeah.
I was just at 2 events this last week speaking, one for the mortgage industry, one for the real estate industry, both national events with hundreds of attendees. And the thing that I noticed was that those vendors that are there, that are sewing into the attendees, that obviously paid money, that all of you who set up these incredible events and conferences spent time cultivating, they're not getting the opportunities that they potentially could. And that's where Kyle and I started having this conversation of how do we come alongside these incredible conferences, these incredible events, and help them not only add value to the attendees, but also add value to these vendors and these people that have paid money to be there to showcase their services and their products. And Kyle, I'd love you to kind of take it from there and share what it is that we were thinking about and how this whole idea came about.
Yeah, man. First of all, anyone that knows us knows that we love podcasts. Between the two of us, I don't know how many bajillion episodes we are into our own shows, being guests on other people's shows. We know that we live in a world now where content is king, content is everywhere. And unfortunately, there's just still a lot of people that don't know how to create it, that it's never in the forefront of their mind as they're coming up with their event. And so what you and I started brainstorming about was, why are we not attending these events, setting up a podcasting studio in the vendor hall so that first we're driving extra traffic to the vendor hall, which is huge for your vendors. Imagine all these people putting on these events can now tell their potential vendors, guys, we're going to have live podcasting throughout the entire event. The heavy hitters that are on our stages, that are in the audience, we're going to be bringing them in as guests, creating content. There'll be a schedule for it so that people will be packing out this area. And beyond that, right, like how many brilliant people were at both events that you just attended and then have been at every event we've ever been to, and their brilliance just gets to sit in the audience, or their brilliance just comes out of their mouth for 45 minutes from the stage, and then it's over. And so we want to not only set up a podcast, but use your influence as the creator of this event to talk to the who's who of our industry, the mortgage and real estate space, so that you now have incredible amount of content to push beyond the event to promote next year's event. And gosh, I mean, I could keep talking about this for 10 minutes. So I'm not. But what else would you add to what we're going to do?
Well, I think you framed it up perfectly. Between the two of us, I was sitting here thinking as you were talking, we've each had 100, 150 plus episodes on our individual podcasts. And I think each of us have been on over 100 other people's podcasts. So there's probably 500 or 600 episodes between the two of us that we participated in. So one of the things that we know from that is how much incredible content can come from even a short conversation in a podcast environment. And so this event that I just came from, as I got off stage, there was one attendee that took it upon themselves to be standing outside of the green room where the speakers came out and asked for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes from each speaker and created some incredible content from that. Well, what happens now with the idea that we're talking about is we're scheduling those people that are on stage to be in that vendor hall, because all the people that were attending that want to ask questions or that want to follow up or that want to meet the speakers now have a place to go. And what better place than that sponsor area that the events and conferences want people to go to begin with. Right. We've all seen the cards that you stamp and you get a giveaway if you've gone by each vendor booth. Or sometimes there's these huge expo halls where on one side is where the coffee and pastries are, and on the other side is just a whole bunch of tables, and one side gets more traffic than another. Well, this is an opportunity to not only make sure we're giving people access to those speakers, but as you said, one of the most important parts of this is to be able to take all of that content from the speakers, not just the footage that you have of them on stage, but of them mingling with the attendees, of them sharing things that maybe they didn't get a chance to talk about on stage. Because at the second conference, that was one of the things that I noticed is you have so many things you want to talk about and only a certain amount of time. And some of the best advice, some of the best things that people like you and I can offer come when we're not on stage, when we're having those one-on-one conversations. So being able to do that in a podcast environment, record it, repurpose that content and give it to the people that are having the event, to your point, to promote it next year is absolutely invaluable.
So let's stop saying event promoters, event creators. Let's stop saying, dang it, we had all those people there and we forgot. Or, okay, next year we're going to do this better. You're not going to do it better. You're not going to do it better. And so why don't you bring in people that are already doing it at a high level and let us be your hype men. We want to be the hype men for your event, because on top of everything we've already said, we'll promote the event. You can give us a VIP code of some sorts that we will use on social media, right? So we will leverage our influence to get the right people in those seats. And, you know, the final thing, Phil, that I want to say before this is over is we'll even be able to take the CEO of your company, the leadership team of your organization, most of which are probably not great on camera. And instead of forcing them to do video, let's just let them sit down at a podcast session with us where we can serve them up softballs, ask them great questions so that they come away with 45 minutes of content, so that now, as the leader of the industry, as the leader of this organization, you have stuff to give, to put out for people to watch, take hold of, share. Man, it's unbelievable. So how do they connect with us to make this happen for their event?
Just got to say the word, but let's recap this for a second. This opportunity for guys like you and I to come in, we're not only going to help promote the event and put butts in the seats, we're going to make sure that those attendees get the most from every single one of the speakers. We're going to make sure that they're spending time in this vendor hall and these sponsors that these event promoters have spent so much time cultivating. We're going to help them create content with the speakers, help create content with the vendors, help create content from your company, repurpose it, and give that to you so that you can continue to keep your event top of mind. And the two guys that are doing it are people that not only attended tons of events, have spoken at tons of events, have created content at these events, and know what it means and how important each one of these is. So at the end of the day, you guys reach out to us. Let's have a quick conversation. Let's talk about how we can come alongside you and help get the most of what you're wanting to accomplish. Because one thing we know, each event is trying to serve a specific audience and has a specific purpose that you're trying to get out of the event or have the attendees come away from the event. And we want to know more about it. We want to know more about you, and we want to come alongside you and make sure that all the time and effort and months of preparation and thousands of dollars that you're spending are going to be fruitful, and you're going to get everything you want to accomplish out of it.